Giants.
All right, check this out in the NFL. Following the Bills' 24-22 loss to the Broncos last night, they are now favored to miss the playoffs at minus 225, plus 190 if you want to bet them to make it in this market watch. They entered last night's game as a minus 120 favorite to qualify for the postseason, but now sit at 5-5, 1.5 games back of the Dolphins in the division. They do currently own the tiebreaker. They're also a game and a half back in the wild card with two teams ahead of them. Now, this is a developing story coming out of that loss last night. The Bills have fired offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey earlier today. Joe Brady will be Buffalo's interim OC. The team has announced Dorsey was elevated from QB's coach in 2022 when his predecessor Brian Dable was hired as the head coach of the New York Giants, and now he's feeling like smashing even more stuff because Sean McDermott has crashed this vessel into an iceberg, but he's decided to throw the chef overboard and not look inward. Aaron?
Somebody's got to take a fall.
Would you be willing to bet the Bills right now to make or miss the playoffs?
It would have to be to miss the playoffs at this point. They've been absolutely disappointing. I keep thinking each week suddenly they're going to turn things around. They were really good for the first 4 weeks leading up to that Dolphins game, okay? Their offensive efficiency was great. They were averaging 33 points per game. We were like, you know what, the Bills, they're looking really good. After that game against the Dolphins, it's been an absolute disaster. And the one thing that really stands out to me is through those first 4 weeks, their time of possession was ranked 3rd in the league. That's dropped to 30th in the league through the rest of the way. And that comes down to Josh Allen being an absolute turnover machine. If you're going to bet on the Buffalo Bills, I would bet every single game for Josh Allen to have a turnover. If you can bet 2 or more, I would take that. Also, maybe a rushing touchdown in there, too, because he does do some things well. But I will say, in terms of the Bills, disappointment, and obviously the Dolphins running away with the AFC East.
Anytime you have a chance to fire an offensive coordinator because the kick block unit had 12 guys on the field, you got to do it. You got to do it right there. It's got to be done. The schedule is what worries me about the Bills turning this around. Maybe they fire the coach. Maybe they shape up. Maybe they get better with the football. Joe Brady stepping in as offensive coordinator. That didn't work well in Carolina. It did work well at LSU when he was the passing game coordinator for Joe Burrow, which maybe more of that was Joe Burrow than it was Joe Brady. But look at the schedule. I mean, where are the layups here? The Patriots in the second last game of the season, but the rest of those are all going to be a struggle. And given the current state of the AFC, I could see them dropping 2 of the next 3 going into that Cowboy game and already finding themselves on the outside looking in. These things tend to steamroll throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, some people look and say, well, what about the Jets as a layup? Jets have given Josh Allen plenty of trouble the last couple of years. Of course, week 1 when Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Let's say Aaron and Joe. Hello to Anita Marks. Welcome her to the show for the first time this evening. I know she's got the app downloaded and ready to fire. So will you be making a bet on Buffalo to make or miss the playoffs, Anita?
Yeah, let me get this straight. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of us on the show. You're absolutely right, Joe. Why did Ken Dorsey get fired? It really should have been the dude on special teams who's responsible for counting 11 guys. I don't get it. In all seriousness, hard shoes to fill. Brian Dable, as we know, head coach here in New York with the Giants. Hard shoes to fill for Ken Dorsey. Was it his fault? No. And Aaron makes a great point. Josh Allen, 11 interceptions on the season so far. And you guys pointed out the fact that they have one of the hardest, most difficult schedules remaining. But Tyler, I'm with you. How about those Jets? I know Robert Saleh came out and said that he's sticking with Zach Wilson. I think that's the wrong move. 1 offensive touchdown since the bye week in week 7. But man, their defense is really good. They rely on Breece Hall. Now keep in mind, the Jets are going to play the Bills. They might beat them, right? With all these changes. The Dolphins play the Raiders, who are coming off of 2 wins. Yeah. And they're feeling really good about themselves, right? With Antonio Pierce as their interim coach. We've got Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, where the Jets are taking on the Dolphins. If the Jets beat the Dolphins, watch out. As I pointed out before, this Dolphins team has not beaten an opponent that's above 500 since week 3 of last year. You could get the Jets right now at 15-1. 15-1. I would lay that wager.
We don't want them at 75-1. Zach Wilson, they just lost to the Raiders on Monday night, Anita. Although that's a very nice case you make